Hey guys, thought I'd do a quick video about this little repair I'm going to do on this vintage Big Muff. Just getting the last of the screws out. And this output jack has been broken and kind of like recessed into the pedal. So we're probably going to have to install a new jack, which I've already acquired one. So we have that ready to go on the side. Never want to pull these open too quickly because you don't know how short the wiring is. So you want to take a peek before you... This is an earlier model because of the square board instead of the T-shaped board, which had just like little cutouts in the side. And also, like, you can tell by the wiring as opposed to like the separate ribbon cables from the later days. So I don't know, it's probably mid-90s or something. You can also tell by the different fonts on these, but I don't know enough to really know when this was. I can tell it was an earlier one just from the board, but it's about all I know. All right. So that jack is a little messed. So we got to take the board out, solder in a new jack. Should be good. Should be easy fix. I'll probably also have to take this DC jack out so the whole thing comes out nicely. All right, so it's probably a 13 mil socket for that DC. 14. Oh, that was the washer for that output jack. Okay. No, it's 15. There we go. Alright, so I'll undo these screws that hold the board in place, and the rest is just the input jack. I think after that should be free. Fun thing about working on vintage stuff like this is you get to see the insides. You get to scope out the guts and check out the old stuff, see if anything's been replaced or, I don't know. If you're a huge music nerd, you probably like that stuff. I guess you could always just Google images of it. So we had a little pressure there when we started loosening this, so I went ahead and loosened the side I was pulling on, which was the jack, just to make sure all is good. So while we're in here, we'll scope out all these traces and points, make sure everything's good. I see some unoccupied stuff over here. I wonder what that's all about. Probably for a different design or whatever, but oh well. All right, so we're gonna take this jack out, replace it. Space here. Ooh, there's a lot of solder on these. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get my just to hold that in place a little better. Woo. And as always, you don't want to have your heat or your soldering iron on these boards too long because these traces will lift up and that sucks. You're fucked once that happens. I've had to repair stuff where the traces are just lifted and gone completely, where I have to you just jumper from where you need to go. Just run a wire or, yeah, a wire. And just jump it. So, you know, you can work around it, but it's best to just avoid it altogether. But yeah, just giant globs of solder on these. It's crazy. One thing you want to make sure too, after these giant blobs of solder have kind of spread around and stuff, you can just go around with a little X-Acto blade or a razor blade or whatever and just score in between the contacts just to make sure nothing's bridging. Sometimes with big giant blobs like this, it kind of spreads out and gets everywhere sometimes once it starts flowing again. So I'm gonna retouch this. It's taking a lot of desoldering. Alright, let's see how much that did. Some of these pins I'll have to bend back. At which point they will probably break off, possibly, but it's an old, it's an old jack that doesn't work anyways. Yeah, we got some more desoldering to do here for sure. Put it back on this thing. Make sure I'm not messing anything up on the component side of the board. There we go. That was nice and effective. Let's see how much better we are. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Just got this last pin here at the end. It's kind of a jerk. It was fully bent in. Looks like they did that to both jacks. They bent one of the outside pins just to probably hold it in place. Jerks. So we'll try to get some more out of there, and then I might start prying it up with a little tool. Yeah, that's a shitty situation right here. I might just, since we don't need this jack, just pull this shit out of it and hope the pin just comes out. Wiggle it. Crazy. Apply some heat with a shitty left hand. Whoa. See? That's why you want to. Separate it a little. And while it's still hot, you pull it out. Alright. So, check out this board. We'll clean those up a little. You know, it doesn't look so bad actually. I think I'll just, sometimes I'll clean them up more with the solder sucker, but I think in this case I'll just put the component in and solder it in and clean it up afterwards. So at this point, you want to make sure you don't grab the same jack and install the shitty jack, because that would suck. So you might as well just throw out that bad one right away. Make sure this will fit. What else can I uselessly talk about here? I don't know, but we're gonna solder a jack in. That's fun. So instead of bending pins like Electro-Harmonix obviously did back in the day, I'm just gonna tape it. Get some masking tape. I can turn that off. Tape that jack in real snug. And that's that. Slide on there so not too much pressure. Alright, here we go. That's starting to, it's a lot of heat on that pad. I don't like that. But there's such giant holes that, like, yeah, you kind of have to overdo it. These seem like decent quality tracing though. It looks like it can take some heat. Good. These are the Russian-made Big Muffs, so not no Chinese-made stuff here. So I'm not surprised that the traces are good quality. Man, it takes a lot for these. This is also very thin solder, so that's part of the issue. It's not much of an issue in the big picture. I desperately need to get some kind of ventilation fan to suck this solder out of my face. Get these fumes out of here, 'cause it's not good. Alright, so I might not even need to score around the contacts like I was saying. Looks pretty clean. So let me try to get this going on the fly here. We'll get this 9-volt plugged in. We will get, what's this? This looks like an input cable that I like to use. I must apologize for the terrible and mumbly videos that I put out. Sorry. Interesting. Interesting indeed. That's a shorter shaft than the other one. That's what she said. So we got that. And we got that. Working. Obviously I didn't need to hit the switch to figure out that the output was working. It was just going, but I like to make sure the effect is going to. Yeah, so that's it. I'm gonna box this back up and send it on to back to the customer. Simple fix. Send me your pedals. I'll fix them. Thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, like, all that YouTube shit. Take care. Alright guys, I'm back. I forgot to mention and also clean the pots. Anytime I'm inside a piece of gear like that, especially an older one, you might as well just get in there and clean the electronics. It's not going to hurt anything. I'll even spray some in this switch. So, I'll just work those for a bit. Note that none of these are the original knobs. So that's it. I'll do the same to the jacks. Get the jacks all cleaned out. Give the switch a couple of goes to clean the contact. And that's it. I'll keep putting it back together. Just want to add that. Always clean out the electronics when you're inside of something. It's just for good measure. Thanks. Take care.